what is vanilla React? We will find out in this video. So what is vanilla React? So basically it's a pure form of React, or you can say the old form of React as well. When React was initially launched, the developers were more inclined to the vanilla React, but when NPM come into picture, things changes drastically. So some of you might be wondering why we are using the vanilla React, why we are learning the vanilla React basically. So the purpose of this video is basically to understand how the React component works and how the rendering works in between these components. So this is the major part which we will be covering in the first chapter of the series. So there will be a lot of videos coming in the future for that particular React series. So stay tuned for that. So let's get started. So now let's start by creating a raw React application. So we will not be using npm command or installing any packages for now. We will just be using CDNs to make things working. So let's create a folder vanilla React. You can name it whatever you want. So inside this folder, let's create a file index.html. Okay, so over here just write html :5, press enter, and you can see it gives you some basic HTML code that will save us a good amount of time. Okay, this is built in with VS Code, so you just have to write that. Okay, let's change the title to car details because it's a car details project that we will be building, and over here we will be using some CDNs. Okay, so if you want those CDNs, you can go to the React CDNs reactjs.org website and you can get them. So the version that I'll be using today, it is going to be version 18 for now, but you guys can use the older version as well, and you can use some beta versions if available. Okay, cross origin, okay, give it a source and let's copy that. Okay, there will be two CDNs that we will be using. Yes, right. Okay, this is the auto generator that I use sometimes to make things easier for me. So there are two CDNs that we will be using. First is the React one, and second one is the React DOM. So basically the React DOM takes care of the rendering throughout the DOM. Okay, DOM is our document object model. So when we interact with our components, then you will get a better idea how things are actually working. Okay, so let's create another script tag. Over here we will be writing all our code. Okay, let's create a const app with arrow function. Okay, over here let's return react dot create element. Okay, so what this create element is doing, it creates an instance of something. Okay, instance of basically the component that we will be using, and when we were connected and render it through the DOM, this gives us the output. I'll explain it to you in a bit. Let me just write the code first. Okay, let's write dev. Okay, this is where we will be giving all our inputs. Let's say if we want to give some ID or the class name to that div, we can write that over here and it will work. For now, let's give it hello world. Okay, that's it. With the version 18, there are some changes that we need to take care. So in the version 17, this is the syntax that we should follow, but with version 18 things changes. So now over here we have to do some changes to make things working. Okay, so now const root equals to document dot, okay, the auto generator did this for me. Okay, so over here I give it a ID, but there is nothing related to it. So let's add that first. I am giving it a div, give it a ID root for now, and let's give it not rendered for now. So if that didn't work, the component that we will be creating didn't give us the output, then not rendered will show. Okay, so this is the const root that I created for now. Now we just have to render that. So the syntax is quite easy. Root dot render method and app component. This is the component. Okay, so let's run that and see the output first. Okay, where it goes? Okay, this is the one. To Visual Studio. Open with live server. Okay, so this is not rendered right now. This is what we got. So let's see how we can make it working. Right? Okay, so over here we are just using app, but that shouldn't be the case. We should have to uh, create an instance of it, right? So we will write react dot create element and we create an instance of it. And over here with the root we are just doing document dot create element by id, but we are not doing the render which we did with the version 17. So let's do that first. So it should be react dom dot create root. Okay, now that should work. Let's see the output. Hello world. Okay, now that worked. So this is how things working, but let's understand with an example. Okay, let's see over here const application. Consider this is to be a component, or you can call it a product. Let's say, for example, let's say this app is a company product. Basically it's Toyota Fortuner. Okay, and the react dot create element app, this is an instance of it. So this is react dot create element is just one Fortuner, and const application component, this is a line of Fortuners that we have in a factory. Okay, let's say there are 1,000 Fortuners over here, and this is the one Fortuner, instance of that Fortuner. If we try to understand things even better, let's go to Flipkart website. Okay, so if you see this header over here, this is an instance of that component. This is the header component, and if you go to any page, let's say go to the monitor section, this is the constant thing. So this is the instance that is being created when we render any page. With the drop down, this is the similar story over here too. That's how things work with React. Okay, and this react dom dot create root, it is creating and react dot root dot render. Basically these two lines help us to render our component. Okay, that's how things are working with vanilla React. Since we switch to modern React, we need not to do all such things. We will be doing more code and saving good amount of time for us. So when in the older days, when the developers initially the developers were more inclined to the uh, vanilla React concept, but when the npm came into picture, things changes drastically. So this is what we have to do. Now the next task is to let's put these things in a separate file. Okay, let's create a separate component, what we can say, and use it from there. Okay, so copy this thing and remove it from here, and inside the let's create a file app.js. Okay, paste things over here and use this file over here for now. Okay, it should be app.js. Let's see the output. So that is still working. Okay, now let's add some css to it. So this is not a css video, so we will just copy paste the css for now, so that we will be able to understand things and saves us good amount of time. Okay, let's create a file style.css, use it over here. Okay, The auto generator works for me. This is the GitHub autopilot that works for me. You can use this. Basically this is not free, so for students you can use this for free, but for developers this is not. Okay, so inside this I created a GitHub repo. I share that link in the description with you guys, so you just have to copy paste the CSS from there only. Okay, so I'll just copy paste that, paste it over here and just save it. Okay, so now let's go to this index.html file or the output that we have. You can see we have the hello world over here and some background. Okay, over here now let's understand what child parent relationship thing is with React. So in the react.create element, I'll try to create a child basically. Okay, I give it an array because it can be multiple childs. Okay, react.create element, the auto generator works for me. Basically it is nothing, it is just react.create element, the giving it a h1 tag and hello world. Okay, no need of p tag for now, so let's remove that. Let's give it a single child and let's see the output. You can see this changes into an image. It is because of some CSS that I am using, just to give you a wider context of how things are working. Okay, so basically what I am doing is with the div, when h1 tag comes in, it is changing the image. Okay, so that's it. Let's go to the app.js. Now let's create another component and use this inside our app component basically, and let's see how that works. Okay, let's call it car component. Okay, with an arrow function we will try to return. Now we will be returning multiple childs with that. Basically let's say for cars we will be showing some car details right now, and let's see how that works. The auto generator is showing. Let's write by ourselves. Create element div. Okay, react dot create element. Okay, h1 comma, and let's give it any car name. Let's say Baleno for now. Okay, create another one. Let's say the brand name for now. The auto generator works for me. You can pause this video if you want to. Create element and the prices. Okay, these three things that we will be using for now, and let's render that into our app first. Okay, create a child react dot create element and car. Okay, save it. Let's see the output. That should work. Okay, it gives us the output Baleno, Maruti Suzuki and some prices. So now you understand how that component thing worked. So we can use another component inside the app component. Okay, so now let's pass the properties. Okay, but before that let's see how we can verify if, oh no, this, how we can verify if that works or not. Basically the React is working or not. Just in the console write React. Okay, press enter. You can see this is what we will get as output. And for React DOM the similar thing, React DOM, and press enter, you can get the output. Okay, so it says secret internals do not use or you will be fired. So this is just to verify that things are working. Now let's pass properties and try to understand how that works. Okay, this is one of the coolest features of React that help us to connect between two components. Okay, So in the car components, let's give it props. Props is basically properties, and we will define that over here. So we were keeping it as blank, and I was mentioning earlier we can pass the ID, class name, and these sort of things. Okay, so over here we can do that, and on the car component we will be passing our properties. So I'll show that to you. So let's give it a name. Okay, it's called Balino. Let's move that to the next line for now. Oh, what happened? Okay, give it a name Balino, give it a brand Maruti Suzuki, and the prices. Okay, let's create another one so that we can understand that it works the way we want it to. Okay, auto generator works. What happened? Okay, give it a, let's say auto generator is showing us some data, brand Maruti Suzuki, and price is 7.5 lakhs. Okay, that's it, I think. Yep. Okay, we have to change these values too. Let's call it, okay, props dot name. Change this to props dot brand, and this one to props dot price. Okay, let's see if that works or not. You can see that that gives us the desired output that we want. Okay, this is how the properties things works with React. Okay, and one more thing, React is a unidirectional thing when it comes to data flow. So the data flows from parent to child, not the other way around. So we need to take care of that. Okay, and initially I was talking about some ID and class name thing. We can try that too. Let's give it an ID. Let's say main for now. Okay, yeah, give it main ID. And if we can go to a code, there's a 12. Okay, this div ID main ID. If you see there are some errors, so we will be fixing them in the coming videos. These are nothing, just uh, when we work, when we create more things, we will be add certain stuffs to our application. Then you will get a better idea of how things are actually working. Okay, so that's it for this video. If you guys have any question, ask me in the comments down below. And if you have any feedback for me, let me know. I'll be improving myself in the coming days so that I'll give you the best videos. Okay, and in the coming future we will be creating more such videos, and we will be trying to understand how React hooks work, how the Redux thing works, and how the Redux store, how to create a Redux store, and how to connect to it, because Redux store is super awesome thing. Okay, if you want me to start a project simultaneously, do let me know, because while working with project, you get to know a lot of things that a tutorial can't tell you. Okay, and that is quite helpful thing. So if you want me to do that, I am happy to. Okay, so thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you find this content helpful. Bye bye.